Here's a challenge you can follow to test your understanding of integrating Google Maps into Android apps. I'm going to show you a beginning version of an application and then show you how the finished version behaves, and then you can try coding it yourself. Or you can go to the next video and see how I solved it. In this project named Land and Hotels, I have two activities, a main activity and a detail activity. This is a basic master detail application. In the main activity, I have a list view, so my screen will present a list of data values, and I'm using a class named Hotel. This class has 5 properties for city, neighborhood, description, image, and address. They're all strings, and I can initialize those values when I create an instance of the class and get the values back by calling the accessor methods. This data provider class provides static access to a set of data. There are 4 hotel records, one for each of 4 cities in London, Hong Kong, San Francisco, and Paris. Each has a specific address, and each has an associated photo. In the Resources folder under Drawable, you'll see that I've provided one photo for each of the hotels. These are PNG files, and you can use them in the app. Going back to the main activity, when the user selects an item from the list, that results in opening the detail activity, with this code in the onItem click listener handler. In the detail activity, I'm using an XML layout file named Activity Detail. It looks like this. It just has a few text values and an image view, and when the user opens the application, they see the information for the hotel that they selected. Now, so far, all of the functionality that I'm describing is something you might know how to do if you've watched the Essential Training course, Developing Android Apps Essential Training. But now, I want to integrate a map into my application. Right now, the manifest file for this app does not have the required permissions, and it doesn't have an API key, so you'd have to add that. You'd also have to modify the detail activity to incorporate a map into the activity. I'm going to ask you to replace the image view with a map, and the final app will look like this. I'll run the app on a device, and when I go to an item from the list, instead of seeing the image at the bottom of the screen, I see a map of the location. And if I then zoom out of the map, you'll see that it's a completely interactive Google map, and eventually you see the name of the location. I'll go back to the list, and I'll choose another item, San Francisco, and once again, I'll zoom out. So here are all the places you would need to make a change. Again, you would need to register your permissions and an API key in this file, the Android manifest. You would need to modify the layout file, Activity Detail, to place a map fragment in the layout. And then in the Detail Activity class, you would need to add all the code, first to check to make sure that you have access to the Google Play Services APK and that you can connect to the mapping service, and then you'll need to initialize the map. Then, because you don't have the latitude and longitude available, that is not a part of what I'm providing in the data file, you'll need to look that information up with the geocoding service. You'll get the latitude and longitude, and then you'll display the map showing that location. In the next video, I'll show you how I solved this challenge.